I'm very risk averse. I like going on a team. When you're around full-time real estate investors all the time, you get really inspired.
So you mentioned the notion of, the power of community, right? The conferences, being active and just taking action. I just so happened to sit beside you, rare occurrence, right? At a conference, and voila, here we are talking about real estate, sharing stories and providing insights to the broader community that someone can get motivated about and take action at from the end of the day. So I think that's key, critical. And I mean, look, I was inspired by your story. I know we talked for what was it the first time, like hour and a half? I think we were just
It seemed like it. It was, yeah, it was, went by really quick. It's like we talked for a long time, but it didn't seem like it was a long talk. Kind of went the story.
when you share good information, it doesn't seem like it's long. You just keep going and keep going and keep going. So yeah.
So a couple of things like with my mindset and why I went kind of big is first of all, I'm very risk averse. I like going on a teams with really experienced people. And a lot of that comes from my experience with a financial crisis and coming out of that, having a mortgage company, being there and being big teams. Also, when you're doing these bigger projects, the bigger deal or the bigger project, the more help you're going to get. And the more help you have, the safer it is. So if you're doing a syndication, it's like a 40 unit and there's two people doing it. And let's say it's a couple and they're awesome. And here we do this 40 unit and they go off to Belize and have a plane crash. I mean, if you're the syndication, okay, who's going to run the deal now? If you're a passive, you don't know. But on these bigger deals, you got 6 or 7 people and everybody has their specialty. But if something happens, other people can jump in and try to help and save the deal. You don't have as much risk. Another thing that happened to me that really shot me forward in multifamily and made me just kind of go for it a little more was I got leukemia in 2022. And this was right when I was getting ready to jump into this full time and I was ready to go. Got sick. I wasn't real unhealthy, just took a blood test and a physical and got diagnosed, had to go in and do some chemo, got the full chemo experience of going in there in the chemo ward and saw and got really, it was a very life-changing thing for me. Got my priorities straightened out, got my clarity really good, got my gratitude up to 10, where it was maybe a 5 before, grateful every day. So I'm healthy now, but that experience really helped me go for it and realize, hey, you got a limited amount of time on this earth. You can't say, well, this is what I want to do, but I'll do it next year or 5 years. So that mindset helped me jump in. And so, from my spiritual perspective, I feel like that God was getting me ready for what I was about to do. And that was like one of the experiences I needed to have to get me ready. So, I mean, I don't think I could do this or be here right now if it wasn't for that. I think I'd just still be doing mortgages. And, I was happy. It was good, but I was a very mediocre version of myself. So I kind of had to go through, that was like the last step, the polishing, to get to that next level. And that's a daily thing too. I'm still working. I'm by no means finished. In fact, I'm just getting started. That's what's so exciting.
Powerful. Mediocre version of yourself. And that's what you're trying to avoid. I think for the listeners, right? There's always an opportunity to grow, to get better, right? I'm a procurement guy, so I'm always thinking about continuous improvement. How can I move the needle? How can I advance myself, right? How can I get in a better position? And I see that as a spark, even from a motivational standpoint. But one key thing that you mentioned, you talked about mindset. Mindset is your greatest asset. If that don't change, you'll be stuck in neutral forever. You made a decision, right? You had a sickness. It changed you and you took action and you decided to move forward. And again, get out of the neutral, staying stuck, and you're progressing for the better version of yourself. You're growing your portfolio. I see you in partnerships. I know some of the groups you travel in, right? So that's good to see the progression of what you're doing. Again, it starts with mindset. It's the greatest asset, hands down, number one. The ability of inaction will keep you in neutral for the rest of your life. And I tell folks, whether it's folks I'm talking to or I'm mentoring indirectly, or I'm just kind of saying it just at this, as a spark of casual conversation. I mean, we try, for me, right? My inner self, right? I always want to kind of continuously improve. And that's the drive. That's what keeps me excited. And that's what keeps me firing up, knowing, look, we could take down one building at a time, one door at a time, help someone, help families, right, etc. So, fantastic story. I appreciate you sharing it. So
it's, I mean, a lot of it is when you're around full-time real estate investors all the time, you get really inspired.
it's
So
actually
everyone is kind of becoming a better version of themselves. So it could be, someone's like, hey, I want to buy 300 units of multifamily next year with my little team I've got put together. But to do that, I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to raise this much money. I need to be healthier, more energy. I'm going to work out an hour every day. I'm going to read 52 books. I'm going to do this. I mean, they set these goals that are far beyond what they could possibly do. And then they say to themselves, what type of person do I need to become to achieve achieve these goals, and then they try to become that person. So everyone's in this massive self-improvement. It's not hokey. I mean, it's real. I mean, they're trying to become a better person. So being around that environment is really inspiring. I went out a couple weeks ago and I was out with some people, and it was out with my wife, and we kind of went out and had a nice time. But I kind of hung out with some normal people that were just kind of normal, average people. I wasn't around my real estate people. And it was really interesting to me. I kind of realized that, like, we're not normal. Like the people that, if you hang out with a lot of real estate people for a long period of time, and then you go back and hang to people that are normal, and there's nothing wrong, they were super nice people. It was hard for me to kind of explain like what I do and how I think. And I just felt like I was out of step with like what normal people are, because the people I'm around are so different. They're outliers in a lot of cases.
And I mean, look, understandable, and they kind of the way you felt at that time. I mean, I'm also in other groups as well as non-real estate individual. So, I mean, the best remedy, I mean, being as clear as concise as you can. And, I'm a multifaceted individual, right? I mean, hey, I work as well during the day, right? And real estate's a passion, and I'm not shying away from it. And I understand the values that's associated with it. And I love talking about it, right? So yeah, no, totally understand and get what you're saying. But I can see how you can kind of feel kind of odd, right? In terms of the real estate versus the non-real estate, right? But
Yeah, I mean, these people were not odd. I was the odd one because I was the one that, not say anything bad about them. It was me. It was like, I'm different. And I didn't realize it because all my time lately been conferences and meetings and people and investors. And then when I get around people that are just normal, great people, I feel a little weird. Like I realize I'm not normal and my mindset's different, and it's hard. And also I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable. So I don't put that out there. I'm just kind of like, going along and but that was just an interesting night. It was kind of strange. And it just brought home to me, if you want to be really successful, you kind of have to change the person you are, and you're not going to be normal. I mean, normal's mediocre. We were going to make a ton of money on this deal. We didn't have a big team. If you can be on a team with people that are better than you, you're going to do really, really, really well.
Jacqueline and Melvin, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to listen to this episode of Get Diversified. Please make sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss out on future episodes. Finally, stop by our website and follow us on social media. Ciao for now. Make it a great day, and we'll see you next time. And remember, get diversified.